As one year ends and another begins, the only thing that gets me through my dull and boring existence is the thought of new games in the future. Because, come on, it's like the only thing that I really care about. So let's also take some time to review the games that I loved from 2015. Now, just so everyone knows, I'm not going to be going into too much detail on the story of these games, just because I don't want to ruin them for people who haven't had a chance to play them yet. So the main discussion will be about the gameplay elements, features, and the main reasons why I liked them. So let's begin. I'm going to keep this list relatively short, so I've only chosen my top 3 favourite games from 2015. Number 3 on the list is Fallout 4.
Let's go, boy.
I knew as soon as this was announced at E3 that it would be one of my favourite games of 2015. The Fallout games have always drawn me in with their various different ways you can play them, the different factions you can side with, and even just the paths you take throughout the game. Not everyone goes from point A to point B the same. You can talk to other people who have played Fallout 4, and they might have discovered something cool and amazing that you completely missed, and vice versa. I can remember asking people how they went about killing Swan to get the legendary Power Fist in the middle of the lake. Some people just shot the bitch. Others laid down mines and lured him over them. But personally, I just punched him until he stopped moving.
Round 1, fight!
Then there were some that didn't even realize that he was there. They just thought he was a pile of garbage. I think one of the best improvements to the Fallout series is that you no longer need to open up cabinets, boxes, and chests into a paused item management screen in order to loot the wondrous treasures that are inside. Now it just brings up a window on your HUD and you can scroll through and take what you want. But with the new crafting system, you'll pretty much want to take everything. In previous Fallout games, I was such a hoarder for no reason. I would just pick up everything I could see and sell it later. With the new crafting system, you can break down items into various different components, such as ceramic, adhesive, steel, cloth, and many more. Then use those as the building blocks to create whatever you want. You can use this to make gun upgrades, armor upgrades, repair your gear and your power armor, but that's not all. You can even build entire walls, buildings, power generators, furniture, and turrets. Throughout the game, you'll come across budding settlements all over Boston, which after a side quest to help them, will join the cause of the Minutemen, a faction of the Wasteland who want to help and save everybody. The real goody two-shoes of Fallout 4. These settlements can be built upon to accommodate for more settlers, better food production, and the creation of clean drinking water. But of course, all of those lovely resources will catch the eye of unsavory types, such as raiders and super mutants. They want what you have, so you better defend it if you aim to keep it. Traps can be set and turrets built to aid your settlers in defending their new way of life. I spent quite a bit of time building up my settlement, probably because it felt so much like The Sims, and I've lost many months of my life to The Sims over the years.
Fanaya Meshka!
I really wish it was as easy to build in Fallout as it is The Sims though. For example, there is wall snapping, but only from side to side. There isn't a snapping option for right angles. The way I got around this was lining up my wall, snapping a roof to it, then snapping the next wall to the roof and building from there. So clearly it's not a perfect system for construction, but I still did have fun with it. Other than these additions, the game plays a lot like any other Fallout game, which I guess I don't hate the idea of. I'm always happy to play more Fallout.
I've heard of another settlement that's in trouble. I'll mark it on your map. We can use all the support we can get. So see what you can do.
No, actually I take it all back. This game is trash. It's fucking shit. Fucking Preston piece of shit. Number 2 on my list is Undertale. Now, you might think it's weird that a game that only costs $10 on Steam and only goes for a fraction of the time of Fallout 4 is actually ranked higher than it. But I'm seeing these games as the experience I got out of them as a whole, not just the amount of time it takes to complete or the amount of content that it contains. Now, onto Undertale. This game is fucking amazing. It takes an old-style RPG feel similar to Earthbound and adds its own flair to it.
Well, like Brian, for example, has 37 pieces of flair on today, okay? A terrific smile.
It isn't your basic RPG where you enter battle, press attack until the bad guy's dead. Hey, maybe even throw out a spell or two. Instead of bringing the smackdown on your foes, you can show mercy. What better way to avoid conflict than to tell a joke, compliment someone, or even flirt?
John, you eat my cup noodle?
No.
You sure? I'm gonna break your baby boy kneecaps.
No. No. Laura, I am so sorry. Are they new shoes? Nice, babe.
Oh, yeah, thanks. What are we talking about?
Ice cream. We were gonna get ice cream.
Sure.
All of these options are made possible in Undertale. In this unique battle system, to avoid taking damage, you move your soul, as they call it,
My soul is at the center.
around the small box at the bottom of the screen in order to avoid enemy attacks. Each enemy has a different attack pattern to learn, some easier to dodge than others. If there are multiple foes at once, their attack patterns overlap. You start your story as a human that's fallen down a hole on a mountain. That's all the information you get about your character. It's your job to fill in the gaps. You then meet Flowey the Flower, who teaches you a couple of things about the world down below. Mainly that he's a big dumb jerk and that he can't be trusted. After your floral ordeal, you'll encounter the lovely Toriel, otherwise known as Goat Mum. She's determined to keep you safe and out of harm's way. But having just fallen from the surface of your own world, you're determined to get back home. Now, I keep using the word determined because it's used all the time in the game. When you save, and even at the game over screen, you're constantly reminded to stay determined and you'll overcome any obstacle in your way. When attempting to leave your new home with Goat Mum, it's when you'll actually need to make one of the biggest decisions of the game. Will you refuse to fight her? Or will you cut that bitch down where she stands?
Get out the way!
The game will normally be played two kinds of ways. Genocide, where you kill everything that moves, slaughtering any monsters that get in your way, friendly or unfriendly. Or will you play as a pacifist, talking and charming your way out of combat. I've personally only played the game without killing anyone, but I do plan to play through again as a murderous child of anger. There is so much amazing stuff about this game that really sets it apart from pretty much anything else that I've played. I love so many of the characters, such as the skeleton Sans, the pun-making jokester, and his brother Papyrus, the great and wonderful, who seeks popularity and wants everyone to adore him. Oh, don't worry, my sweet skelly bones baby, I adore you. My favourite experiences from the game definitely come from the boss battles. Each have a unique aspect to them, where the combat changes to a quiz show, a rhythm game, or even something reminiscent of a top-down shooter. Each boss is well written and fun to engage, so it makes for a really memorable experience. In what other game does a boss ask you to write an essay about them? These fights also take full advantage of moving your soul around the screen. For example, when battling Muffet, you quickly change from simply moving to dodge spiders to climbing for your life, keeping just out of reach of her pet's jaws. One last thing to touch on before I move on to number 1 on my list is the music. The music in this game is amazing! Every single track just makes me so happy and reminds me of the great places, enemies, and friends you meet along the way. And it just gives me another reason to love the game. Some of my favourite tracks would be Bone Trussel from Papyrus's boss fight, Death by Glamour from the Mettaton boss fight. And yeah, because it fills me with so much determination. And here we are, number 1, my absolute favourite game of 2015, and it's Metal Gear Solid 5. This will come to no surprise to people who know me because I absolutely adore the Metal Gear franchise. So I'm pretty biased towards it. It's my favourite game series, and Metal Gear Solid 3 is my absolute favourite game of all time. So it's a given that I'd be biased to little old MGS. This installment of Metal Gear Solid takes place after Peace Walker for the PSP and before the first Metal Gear game for the MSX2. So it's weird to think that the continuation of this is actually this. I feel asleep? This game even had a short prologue game called Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. It introduced to the players how it will be a different style of Metal Gear game. Normally it's a somewhat linear storyline, taking place in or around the same area the whole game, such as a nuclear disposal facility in Alaska, or the jungles of Russia. Yeah, I know, I'm also pretty sure Russia doesn't have a jungle environment, but it's Metal Gear. Seriously, weirder stuff has happened.
Who are you?
Anyway, Metal Gear Solid 5 is mission-based. From your ACC in your helicopter, you can choose missions that you want to do, whether it be a side mission to raise money, recruit soldiers, or gain resources. Otherwise, you can complete a main mission that furthers the story. I found myself really addicted to completing side missions and growing Mother Base. Mother Base is pretty much a self-explanatory name. It's your base. You build it up using money earned from missions, you man it with soldiers that you, convince to join you by, well, you steal them. You steal them from the enemy using a balloon, and then they work for you. Okay, that's just how it works. Don't ask me about it. It works. Using this Fulton extraction system, you can do more than just kidnap people. You can kidnap animals, jeeps, tanks, man and machine guns, and shipping containers. It actually feels really satisfying to do as well. This is headquarters. You're telling me you can't take out this one guy? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. We didn't expect a guy in a cardboard box to fucking sneak in and steal all of our shit. We didn't plan for this. One of the coolest additions to the game is the iDroid. It's basically a holographic mobile phone that you can access your mission data, instruct your buddies, call in air support, control Mother Base operations, get weapons dropped in, and last but not least, listen to cassette tapes. Yes, you heard me right. This is a hologram producing piece of technology, keep in mind that this game is based in the 80s, that plays cassette tapes. The use of tapes is fantastic though. While out in the field, you can come across cassette tapes in portable radios, which, like basically everything else in the game, you can steal. It will then be added to your tape library, and it can be played whenever you want. Nothing quite sets the mood for an upcoming battle like Kids in America. Not all the tapes contain music though. Other tapes can be found that are more like sound effects. These can actually be played out loud on the speakers so enemies and animals can hear them. For example, say you're hiding in a toilet and someone's about to bust you, no problem. Just play the tape of someone having violent diarrhea and he will have no intention of interrupting you. It's little details like these that are what make Metal Gear games what they are. It's like how, thanks to Metal Gear, I never look at cardboard boxes the same. There could always be someone hiding under it.
What was that noise?
Huh?
Metal Gear.
Why do you do these things?
cardboard box. A staple of the Metal Gear franchise. Just when I thought they couldn't improve upon a simple box anymore, Kojima does this. It's amazing. Nothing short of breathtaking. Not only can you put anime girls on your box, you can use it to distract enemies as well. But wait, there's more. You can now turn any slope in the game into a slip and slide. 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, 246 out of 212, Game of the Year, all years, Box of the Year, all years. So there you have it. That were my 3 favourite games from 2015. But what about you? What were your favourites from 2015? Leave me a comment down below. I'm excited to see what you say. And remember to tune in for my next episode, which is all about the biggest gaming disappointments of 2015. See you then. I think Quiet is the best buddy because she has a really good set of eyes. Because she's a sniper and she can see really well. She's got a really good set of eyes.